is the sweet spot for you? What is the big reward to doing poetry? We know it's not monetary, so what is the magic for you?
There's two things that hold the magic for me. One is when you've created the poem, and when you still could go back and do some tweaking and editing, but basically when you've got the poem and you're thinking, yes, this is what I want, this is what I wanted to express, I'm fairly happy with this. That's the first magical part. Yeah. The second one is when you're reading it and either you do feel the audience response to it, or someone comes up to you afterward and says how much they like the poem or they identify with it. That's also very magic. And that must be what musicians feel when they're on stage performing a song. It must be 10 times for them because music is so powerful.
I think they say the same about us.
Nice.
They say, oh, it must be wonderful. I wish I could be a poet.
But I mean, they're playing before thousands and thousands of people.
Right.
I'm happy if 20 people applaud me.
Right. So we have a lot less overhead. Now, do you feel nervous when you're in front of an audience ever? Like and did you ever feel nervous in front of an audience?
I used to when I first started out. My very first feature came at the Northeast Regional for Emiliano. I remember being very nervous before, even days before that. I was practicing and rereading, and now it doesn't bother me at all. I don't get nervous.
How did you feel when you actually did that reading, particularly? I mean, did you get over the nervousness right away, or was it something you had to do a few times?
I think I got over it pretty quickly, within the first couple poems, probably.
Yeah, because an audience can make you feel at home or not. A lot depends on them.
Well, I think the good thing was that audience knew who I was, and I knew who they were, and that made it easier. If I had read before a group of strangers, don't know if it would have went as well as it did.
Now, it's been a long time since the Northeast Regional. What poetry scenes do you like that are going on today?
I feel comfortable reading just about anywhere. So many places I've read that I've enjoyed. I used to enjoy the Hunt Club Mansion when I first met Mad Poets. I've enjoyed reading at all the Borders and Barnes and Noble, the different coffee houses and libraries. I loved reading on WXPN. That was
a high point.
That's a high point because one, we've talked about my love for the music. Right. That was my favorite, still is my favorite radio station, the only radio station I listen to.
Really?
And the fact that Michaela Majoun hosted that show, she was my favorite DJ. She has since left WXPN, but that all worked out really well. It was.
How do you feel that the tone, that the overall expectation and the ambience of poetry venues has changed since you started with the Northeast Regional Library?
I don't know if they've changed radically. I think we've all gotten a little comfortable because it's basically the same faces now for a while. It's you sort of get a different feeling when you're new to a group or new to a venue and you see new people. Now newer readers are more sporadic than they used to be.
Why do you think that is?
The mindset of the current generation, younger people, I mean, they have options now. They can go on social media, and there's Facebook, and, you know, I've got 500 friends, how about you? You know, they don't feel as though they need to make as big as an effort. You know, they can post a poem online.
You've got a good point there. They feel like they're out there without actually going out there.
Right. You know, we had to work for it.
Well, yeah, we did.
You know, and I'm not trying to put us on any
true.
kind of an extra pedestal,
Yeah.
but, you know, we had to go travel to the venues and get ourselves known and learn how to perform and learn how to
it was a rare
write.
opportunity to get seen by 20 people.
Yeah.
Whereas now you can do what we're doing right now, and potentially there are thousands, millions of people watching us right now.
But it's not any less. You know, I enjoy reading as much as I ever
Right,
did.
so it hasn't diminished.
It hasn't
That's
diminished, not one
wonderful.
iota.
Yeah, to me, that's what's great about poetry, is that it doesn't lose its luster, because there's always a surprise. You're constantly surprising yourself. I mean, every time you come up with a new idea, you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know where it's going.
Yeah, and poets I've heard read for the last 25, 30 years, they continue to impress me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they continue to drive me. You know, so no, I feel as strong about it as I ever did. Plus, I think I kind of know what I'm doing these days.
Oh, you have confidence. You have more confidence than
I have more confidence that I just know what I'm doing. I mean, most of my early work, success or fail, I just kind of stumbled into it blindly. Now I actually have more of an idea when I write it. I can look and say, oh, I used that poetic device, or I used that. Oh God, there's a cliche. Get rid of that. You know, like
You feel like
before,
you're
I
not
wouldn't
what
have
you're
thought of a
supposed
lot
to.
of those things. I didn't know.
Right. But regardless of how confident you get, you still worry. And I know, at least you
I
write
do.
about worrying.
I do still worry. I know you wanted me to read this. And where is it?
I'm worried that you forgot the poem.
Here it is. This is new. I haven't read it at any venue yet. It's only gone through
This
our
is an
critique.
exclusive, folks.
So I'm going to break this poem's cherry. Worry. I worry when I'm writing. Worry that the pot is overflowing, an overcooked steak, portions too large for my own good. I worry when I'm not writing. Nothing in the pot. The oven full of yesterday's aroma, stomach growling for a plate of creativity. I worry when I'm writing that I'm a CD on repeat, originality's perfect game of hide and go seek, never to be found. I worry when I'm not writing, my identity stolen, purpose in question, fastball gone. I worry when I'm writing, have I filled the holes or simply created more? I worry when I'm not writing, no holes to fill, no reflection in the mirror. Vampires can't be poets.
I think any poet, any writer can identify with that, because you've captured the yin and the yang of worry, basically, because there is anxiety connected with when you're blanking out and nothing is coming. There is anxiety connected with trying to get what the poem's potential out. And you've captured both sides of that anxiety, and yet you feel that you're more confident about being able to overcome those obstacles.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. I said this went through the critique last week. the very last line, vampires can't be poets, that's still kind of in question. The question was, vampires can't be writers, because I worry when I'm writing, I worry when I'm not writing. And I keep saying writing, writing, writing. And at the end, I say vampires can't be poets. And the question at the critique was, vampires can't be poets or vampires can't be writers. So right now it's at poets. Could change.
Stay tuned, folks.